Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with ZeldaSpeaks for your Monday morning mindfulness sessions on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, ZeldaSpeaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with ZeldaSpeaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Hi, my name is Julie Myrista. I'm with the American Heart Association, and we have been up to our ears in sweetened beverage tax, so I so much appreciated the 5-minute meditation today that allowed me to get back to my center, take a few deep breaths, and really focus on what's important.
Shalom and good God morning. And thank you for joining me today on blogtalkradio.com, The Female Solution. It's your Monday morning mindfulness with ZeldaSpeaks. Mindfulness stress release coach. I'm just here to make your day better.
Hi, my name is Kim Davis, and I'm just so excited to be a part of the mindfulness exercise that we did today. Miss Zelda was excellent with allowing us to really relax in providing us with techniques of breathing to just sort of let things float off of you and get your mind in a right framework to just receive and be receptive, and above all to be comfortable within yourself. So I thank you, Miss Zelda. I'll be tuning in more to your YouTube channel to find even more mindfulness exercises. And during this time in our lives, some of us anyway, we need to do things to relax and let go and just slow the mind down. So for that, Miss Zelda, I thank you and continue to do the great work.
Yeah, I think the main thing, the message that I just want to get out to my people is, I totally agree with Brother Kwame that racism stems from capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be, sometimes we have to take the emotion out of the situation so we can look at things from a logical perspective. And at the end of the day, even slavery was an economic decision. Keeping people enslaved was an economic decision, but they had to institute racism in order to justify it so that people could continue on with the system for their own personal economic gain. And so I do think that we need to look at how that is. But I don't think that we should lose sight on the fact that economics is clearly where they is clearly the tool that they weaponize against us. Keeping us economically disadvantaged has been their advantage to literally keep their foot on our neck. When you look at the brothers who are sitting in prison for 12 to 18 months for menial crimes because they don't have small sums of money to pay bonds that are as low as $1,000 or $2,000, that is an ability to keep you chained through economics. When you look at the fact that police officers are stationed in marginalized neighborhoods and that sit there writing excessive tickets and waiting to find people with no registration and no insurance and things like that, knowing that these people are economically disadvantaged and they just need their car to get back and forth to work for a job that's only paying $10 an hour, which has not allowed them to keep all of their public assistance services. And so when they have to make a choice between rent and car insurance is not going to be the winner, and now you give them a $1,500 ticket that they can't pay, and then you're able to put them into the probationary system because they can't pay the ticket. It's all an economic gain. So part of what we're going to have to do, and I definitely believe in the spiritual realm of, reconnecting, but we are also going to have a strong economic plan for our people in order to find our way out of this. And if you think that they don't know that the game is to keep us economically disadvantaged, then they wouldn't work so hard to keep us economically disadvantaged. When you look at situations like Tulsa and Rosewood, and for the record, those are two of about 30 instances like that happen throughout, modern history here in America. When you look at situations like Freeman Bank, where they robbed our community of a collective $50 million and then used that money to build a railroad, there has been a strategic system to keep us economically disadvantaged. And often people want to say to me, well, what about people like Michael Jordan, Oprah, and all of this? When you look at America's wealth, 90% of America's wealth is owned by white Americans, and only 2.6 of America's wealth is owned by African Americans. That is a huge discrepancy.
Yes.
But they continue to make sure that their communities have wealth, because between 1926 and 1965, America underwrote $128 billion in almost 0% home loans, and 98% of that went to white Americans, and only 2% of that went to everybody else. Everybody else combined. Black, Latina, Asian, everybody. And so there has been economic warfare that has been, waged against us for as long as we've been here. And so a huge part of what I think we have to do is come up with a very strong strategic economic plan to circulate the black dollar and to get us out of this generational debt that is a result of slavery.
What is the economical plan? What is the economical plan to get us out of this debt? Kwame?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kimberly. I think he may have accidentally. Go ahead and answer that question, Kimberly.
I think one of the first things we have to do, and this is a very simple part, is we have to offer black businesses the same grace that we offer white businesses. You go to McDonald's 100 times and the ice cream machine isn't working, and you still continue to patronize them. You go to a black business and they don't have forks, and you have an attitude you never return, and you use your power to badmouth them to 10 other people who won't patronize that business. So we are not getting the small business loans that other cultures are getting. We are not getting the free business education that other cultures are getting. And so when we are starting businesses, we are starting them without the same financial advantage and also without the same financial information. And so we have to offer grace to our businesses. We have to continue to patronize them so that they can continue to build and grow and get better. And that's not saying, and that's not me saying that you should patronize poor businesses, but that's also saying that we have to take that Willie Lynch chain off of our mind, which allows us to always walk in with venom towards our own selves. Walk in with the attitude of, I know this isn't going to be right because it's black. And so what that does is that lets your filters up and you noticing everything.
You are absolutely right. Just like the grants and the loans, the business loans that are going on right now that are available in all over America, 90% of the loans are going to, in billions, not millions, billions to white businesses. Black businesses are suffering. And I'm going to read to you just a second before we go off the air, Kimberly. I'm sure you already know about it. But for those who are listening on the switchboard, if you have a call and you want to get in on the conversation, Kimberly has to leave in a minute. But if you want to get in on the call, you've got to call now because the switchboard locks down at 9 o'clock. 515-605-9325. You got to press 1 to speak, and we will stay on the switchboard. And the list. Yeah, we're going to stay on, and we're going to continue the show after 9 o'clock. We're just on Facebook Live, so you can join us here. So the audio will cut off at 9 o'clock, but you can still listen. You just can't dial in.
And to our global family listening from all around the world,
we say thank you for listening. You wanted to comment, Kwame? It's 9 o'clock, and Kimberly has to leave. Kimberly, did you want to give us a closing thought before you leave?
I just wanted to say thank you for having me on. Brother Kwame, I will definitely connect with you now that I know we're in the same space, and I just want my people to continue to grow and thrive and pursue ownership. We have to pursue ownership so we can employ each other.
Yes. Amen. Well spoken. It's the words.
I have a good one.
Then you have a better one, my sister. Thank you so much. That is Kimberly Jones. I'm sure you've seen the viral video. She was joining us here today on the subject of Does Corporate America Have the Answer to Racism? And she will be joining me on Zoom. I will post that information on my social media, so be sure and check it out, facebook.com ZeldaSpeaks, as well as Twitter and Instagram, ZeldaSpeaks 2, the number 2, and U, the letter U, ZeldaSpeaks to you. So I'll be posting that information. Thank you, Brother Kwame, for staying here with us this extra time here on the Female Solution. And I know you have something to add to what she just said about businesses. And while you're talking about businesses, I'm going to look up this information that was sent to me about how we can continue the economic plan to support us. As a matter of fact, I have it right here. Actually, it began Friday, June 19th, and we were celebrating Juneteenth. So the first day of the economic withdrawal plan was day 1, Sunday, June 21st, is to boycott big chain and department stores like Walmart, Sam's Club, Target. Day 2 was Monday, June 22nd, where we boycott fast food and chain restaurants, McDonald's, Popeyes, Hip Hop, Checkers. Day 3, Tuesday, June 23rd, boycott online shopping, no Amazon, no Fashion Diva, no sneakers. Day 4, Wednesday, June 24th, boycott supermarkets, Giant, Shoppers, Price Right, Aldi's. Day 5, Thursday, June 25th, repeat the days 1 and 2. And Friday, day 6, repeat days 3 and 4. And day 7, which was Saturday, June 27th, do not spend any money at all, period. Because if we don't spend money, we spend money. How many billions do we, excuse me, let me take that back. How many trillions do we spend shopping, Kwame?
$1.3 trillion a year. We're the third largest, as far as consumers making money in the country, is the Mexican surpassed us with $1.5 trillion.
Wow.
We're now at 1.3. You can go on University of Georgia Georgia Bulldog, and go into the economic department, and in the economic department just put in black consumerism in the economics, and they will give you a statistical listing of what we spend our money on, from cars to drinks to entertainment and all of that. And it breaks it all down to see why we're using. But I began this conversation when I was saying if you add the E to racism, what do you get?
Race.
E-racism. The E is economic. Economics. The E is economics because in the economics, the foundation in defining economics, you define economics. The first thing that you have to have in economics is, number one, land. Land. To have any economic, any business, you got to be on land. Somewhere in a building, you're on land. So that's the first part of economics. The resources and the things in which come from the land, and being able to create that which is given to us by nature and the Creator. If the resources come, that's how agriculture created an industry created technology.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It all started with the land. And we have to, and what we have to do is the other E is education. Sister Kimberly was perfect on that. Is that
on the money.
You define people by land, history, and culture. Land, history, and culture is what Dr. Clark says is that how you define people. And in the part of us having been on this continent and coming from the continent which is called the motherland, because the mother of all humans come from that land. And so what we have to do is that we have to educate, not miseducate like we have been given, because education comes from the Latin word inducere. Inducere means to bring out. What we've got to do is bring out our Akashic record. We got to bring out this downloaded consciousness that we've been given for each generation. As Fanon says, each generation out of relative obscurity must either fulfill its mission or we will all fail.
Amen.
And what we're seeing is that from slavery to this day right now, Harriet Tubman's 200th Earth Day, the thing is that we have in each generation made another pivotal change. It's shifting what we have been given by our oppressor, our aberrant child. And so what we're now in charge in this generation that was out there protesting, and the ones that are using the techno-spiritual, we've got to get them back to introduce to the land, the oasis, our ancestors' spirit in service. Is that we're in deserts and being in the urban. Urban means you're banned from the mother. You're banned from nature. Urban means that you put over 1,000 people in a square mile radius. That means you're gonna put them on top of each other, right on top of. You don't have any earth space for the mother to connect with. But we have to come back to rural, and that we have to come back on the mother and be able to nurture and get the energy that's coming from her skin. It's just like when you touch another person, touching their skin, you exchange energy. When you walk on the earth, you exchange energy. Her soil is her skin. And in her, up under her skin is a recorded history of foundation, of mineral people and resources and crystals that give an information source that is endless since this planet began. This is why it's called artificial intelligence. They're creating their thoughts and how they want it. Nature knows what has been, and it will always give you what is needed for your growth and development.
Yes.
Like she said, like Maika said, planting a seed to get a tomato. You won't get an apple planting a tomato seed. It knows what it's supposed to do because it's in nature's order. Everything is in order. That's why I said the overground railroad what is over us is the Milky Way, the milk in which feeds this galaxy.
It's very
We
interesting.
got to nurture from her.
It's very interesting that you talk about the overground railroad, and I'm thinking about back about what she said about Rosewood and Tulsa. Only a couple of the 30 or so institutions that were bombed, including especially the Freedmen banks, where they were robbed up to $50 million to build a railroad. I get that now. The overground railroad.
Right,
Yes.
Right, but what we got to look at, and that's just how they this is what the plan is now, because you had the Silk Road in China, which created the trade, the commerce trade. It went from the Silk Road to the commerce trade. But we were trading with China before there were other civilizations that even would name Rome or Greece.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The part that we're having to know is understanding our history, our story, not his story.
Right,
He's not going to give us our truth. We
No.
have truth the whole lie, and we keep getting this lie that we are less than when we are the source of all that is.
Yes. And that's why we have shows like this and other shows on the Female Solution that teach us, that show us the way and encourage us to do our own homework. Stop listening to the lies that they're telling us on Tell I Vision. (515-605-9325). Press 1 to speak. We have we got a lot of calls on here this morning, but I'm going to try to get a few. Area code 872-901. You're live on the Female Solution. What's your question or comment as it relates to racism in America? Does corporate America have the answer? What's your name and where you're calling from?
And this is Lois here in Chicago.
Hi, Lois. Thanks for calling.
Brother Kwame and Zelda, I tell you, it's just a blessing to be alive.
Yes, it is.
Thank God for what we're talking about. But racism, that's exactly what it is. I mean, we have to prove it, though. But racism caused me not to receive $12 million in a judgment that I received. Racism has caused our children to be miseducated. We can't even supply decent books or up-to-date books for our children. They're working, as we speak, with obsolete books. Nobody wants to spend money on the fact that the children are being miseducated, and they have been for quite some time. But, Brother Kwame, my question is, how do you think all of this began? I went to ActivistKimberly also, and I hope that I can get the contact information for the two of you before the show is over. How do you think all of this began? I know the homosexuality thing has been out there. It's a big thing now. The virus is a big thing. What do you think really created all of this? Okay. Well, and I thank you for that question. And it's very important. That's why I said we need to know our story. And looking at our story, is that we were the creators of civilization. And we began civilization, and then we populated the rest of the planet. And as our children went off and went into other lands, they were lacking of three things, because the three things that you needed is water, land, and women. And then our children going into an environment wasn't conducive to them, as we are people of the sun. They lacked that sun, that energy that comes from above, that over us energy of cosmic consciousness. Then they lacked the part of land that was nutritional enough to provide them what they need. They lacked women to reproduce themselves, and water to nurture themselves and their bodies. So when they evolved into what they became, as what we see now as our aberrant child, a defective African, he came back, attempting to come back, and we received our children in. And in our children, it was a misbehaved child. Because if you look at Christianity, when it looks at it, and they said when that Jesus was born, they said, okay, Herod said, kill the firstborn, send him where? To Egypt. when Abraham and his two wives, Ethiopians, were in Ur, and the angel told them to do what? Go into the land of Egypt. So even when they were going to kill the prophet Muhammad, and they told him that Dave and Herod and Bilal took them to Ethiopia, which is in Africa, which is the same part of the, all went there, but then the dissemination of all of that came out from that. But we got a misguided story. That's why I said half truth is a whole lie. This is why we're having to look at our story from which our ancestors are now giving us the people to research and write our truth, and being able to give the tools to our children and awaken that Akashic record, because you as a black woman has the human DNA of all other human beings on the planet. This is why they're trying to decode our women's DNA. And so what you're looking at is that we're now in a challenge of I said earlier about the DNA drain, is because they're trying to alter this, recreate themselves, utilizing what has come from our human thing, and this is what we're challenged with. And in you asking this question, we have to understand right now is the pivotal point in our time on this planet, because each one of us chose to be here at this now moment. And within you lies the answer and the solution of what it is, your purpose that you made that body to come here to do with.
In you lies the answer. Did you hear that? It's not about them, so let's change the focus. It's about you and what you decide to do. It's 9:14. We're going to end this at 9:30, so you still got a chance to call in at 515-605-9325. Does corporate America have the answer to racism? In the death of George...
Can I give something to that?
Yes.
Corporations, this is why we have to be right now. This is why when they were asking the question, what we have to look at, when corporation is making this offer, we need to be beating down their doors to get into to that corporation. And then the other part is that if you're going to give this money, HBCUs,
yes,
Black College, we need to fund these institutions of higher learning for our children. If you're going to give that much money, give free scholarships to those people that are running in the streets protesting, to those young ones needing to go to a school that will be taught by people that look like you, and be able to give you the knowledge of yourself to activate you to do for self. That's what Booker T and Du Bois was arguing.
Knowledge.
So
not the only one. It has been a pleasure to be here with you today. I hope that we've shared something that will make your life a little bit more tolerable during this transition, the new normal. And I hope you'll share this video with someone and have a conversation with the elder today and learn something, and what you learned, share it. Share what you've learned anyway. Each one, teach one. Okay, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Love you. Namaste. Hotel. Shalom.